Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Built Like This podcast. I'm your host, Maxine. We're on episode 285. Happy Friday episode. Hope you are doing well. I want to come on here and say all that I said about Taraji P. Henson in the previous episode, I take it back. I take it back. Maybe I've been underestimating her talent. I knew she was talented. I've seen her work. I've seen her in different movies, different shows, and different roles. Maybe not in different roles entirely though, because I feel like I personally pigeonholed her to a ghetto, angry black woman trope, bitter, just the roles that are typical for some of the productions that she's been a part of. And though she's done an excellent job fulfilling the character, right? I give her that. It was just still, oh, that's that. It wasn't really extraordinary. It wasn't anything special in my opinion. I mean, she's an actress. She knows how to do her stuff, but I just didn't feel like it was beyond. Yo, I'm probably eating crow right now, but I haven't finished it yet, but I watched the movie Hidden Figures. Okay. And that is a movie in which she stars in alongside Octavia Butler. Butler. Oh my gosh. Is it Butler? Is it Butler? Octavia Spencer. Oh my gosh. Octavia Butler is the author. Look, that's a very interesting name. So to have two Octavias who are both black women, I really want to know the genesis of that name. But anyway, Taraji is killing her character. Like I'm amazed. Like I'm just so taken by her character, her mannerisms within her role, her features, the way she's expressing herself. Like I am so taken. And for those who may not be familiar with the movie, it's based on three black women who are geniuses, I would say, because they're super intelligent when it comes to STEM and engineering. And so they actually pioneered for a lot of other black women to have an education in the STEM field. And I think one of them went to, well, allegedly, if you want to believe in the moon landing, but let's not go there right now. But one of them, I think it leads up to it in the movie. Again, I haven't finished it yet, but one of them makes it in the spaceship. Let's just say that. If they really make it to the moon, that's something else. But let's not focus on that, Maxine. Focus. Fuck. She's phenomenal. Taraji is killing this role, and I feel like she should have gotten an Oscar for it because my God, today how she got. I'm sure she's gotten awards for it, but she should have gotten an Oscar for it. Like, wow, I'm so taken by the movie. I think the whole movie is really good. I mean, you have Kevin Costner. Kevin, you can't go wrong with Kevin Costner. I loved him ever since The Bodyguard. Hello, Whitney. Hello. Shoot, Kevin Costner is one fine white man. Okay, even then and today, I know he's in that new show called, was it Yellowstone? I heard it's good. I haven't watched it yet. I may check it out at one point, but he is anyway. This movie, Hidden Figures, is amazing. So shout out to Taraji P. Henson. She deserves all of the money that she says she is being cheated from. All of the money that she is not getting enough of, all of the money that she is not getting paid the same wage, if not more than her counterparts, she deserves it all. Because my God, today I'm convinced. I'm sorry. I apologize. This is me eating crow, whatever the term is, the phrase is. I'm taken aback. She did an amazing job. She bodied that character. So shout out to her. She said that was it was Proud Mary. Yeah, Proud Mary was when she only got, that was the latest she's gotten a bump in her pay. And Hidden Figures was much later than Proud Mary, so that's pretty disappointing. She did a phenomenal job. Like, wow. So shout out to Taraji P. Henson. Like this video if you agree. But speaking of Oscars, let's talk about Angela Bassett, the phenomenal, the legend. I would say the living legend. I say anyone who's worked closely with Whitney Houston is a legend. But, she obviously holds her own. Angela Bassett is just so amazing. From her role as Katherine Jackson in the Jackson 5, her role as Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It. Her role as Bernadine in Waiting to Exhale. Shoot, her role as Stella in How Stella Got Her Groove. I mean, the list goes on. She is so well-rounded. She is so full in her range. And that's just what I'm saying in the difference between Taraji and Angela Bassett. Because with Angela, I've seen so many different movies that have been so successful, so resonating with the masses. And her roles were diverse and just wow, I didn't know she could go there. She could go she's not just a typical Black girl, which is nothing's wrong with that story. But I also feel like, because shout out to my nail, ugh, gross. But because we see a lot of times white actresses, they have so much of a range in their movies, right? We see them as aliens, we see them as mothers, daughters, rich woman, poor woman, teacher, homeless person. Like, we see such a range in white actresses. And when we see some Black actresses, at least, there isn't much range. And it's like, dang, like, why can't I see you in a different light? I know you're you're capable of it. I know that, but I don't see that. So that's what I was just expressing with Taraji. I haven't seen that, or maybe I just haven't been exposed to it enough yet until today, child. When I watch Hidden Figures, wow. Taraji deserves every amount of dollar she is saying she is owed. Okay. But yeah, Angela Bassett, legend. Legend, beautiful, talented. She's also been in American Horror Story, just scary as fuck. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so amazing. Like, that's how you know you're a good actor. You can convince me in any role. You're not pigeonholed into one character. I could see you as a villain, as a victim, as the oppressor, like in any capacity. I could see you in that way. So I'm just so impressed. What the y'all, hold on. Okay, I'm back. Phenomenal actress. Okay, she finally got the recognition. I mean, she's been getting recognized. Don't get me wrong. I think she's been a recognized, well respected and revered actress in Hollywood. She's not only respected in the Black space, but in masses, like all around. So I don't want to limit her to just that. But anyway, she recently received an honorary Oscar award. Yes, honorary, which I find to be very interesting because what the fuck is an honorary Oscar award? Like, what are we talking about right now? But nonetheless, she received it, and that's great. Congratulations. Nonetheless, I am happy for you. But something interesting took place when she accepted her award, which was given to her by Regina King. Regina King is another fellow actress who is phenomenal in her work. She's also a director. You may know her from 227, from The Boondocks, Boys in the Hood. I mean, the list goes on. She's very talented and well-rounded in her talents. So she gives a speech honoring Angela Bassett, giving her this award. And as Angela receives the award from her, she embraces her, but not just like a hug and, kiss to kiss on the cheek. She places Angela places both hands on Regina King's cheeks, right? Motioning her face towards her, and gives her a peck on the lips. Now, it was a quick peck. I mean, not too quick, but it wasn't long. And it was, this close-eyed. She's very excited to receive this award. You could feel the happiness and joy in the embrace. But as I'm watching it, I'm like, what? what the fuck? I saw it. Like, what is this, honey? What are we doing right now? Because, of course, where does my mind go? Where does my mind go? Illuminati, right? Where does it go? Humiliation, ritual. Where does it go? It goes all the way there because it's just so random. And yes, you can embrace people in the heat of the moment, right? In the enjoyment of what's happening. That's not strange to me. But what is strange is the way that she's showing affection. There's a myriad of ways to show affection. You could hug someone, you could kiss them on the cheek, but to kiss her on the lips was peculiar to me. It was, because we've never seen this from Angela Bassett. She's never played a role in which she showed lesbianism in any capacity. So this sudden expression really just kind of made me open my eyes, and it just made me kind of wonder, like, dang, when you get to any point in your career where you kind of reach this upper echelon, you reach another rank, you always have to go through some type of either humiliation, some type of just compromising of your morale. Shout out to Cat Williams, right? Whether that's you as a Black man, and yes, not all Black male actors experience this, but a lot of the comedic Black male actors did, and they decided to wear a dress, or not even decided, but maybe they were put in the corner and their morals were compromised and they had no choice, quote unquote, right? So I say all this to say, whenever a new door of ascension is reached, there is now this level of compromise that is being had. It just made me feel so sorry. Like, dang, Angela, they got Auntie Angie. And it was just so kind of awkward to watch. Angela Bassett is a grown woman, right? Both her and Regina King are both grown. I think Angela Bassett is a few years older, but Black don't crack, and they look so well. Like, they look so put together, so well maintained that you can't even. I don't know, child. I just was just like, okay, child, okay. So now, and okay, people want to say, oh, well, it wasn't sexualized. It's not to say that it came off sexual in that capacity. It's not to say that like there was no tongue action. She wasn't feeling her. Like, it wasn't like in that sense. It just was questionable. Like, what was the reason? In the words of Cardi B, what was the reason? Why did it need to go there? So that's just was my point of contention. But hey, congratulations nonetheless. I'm glad that she's got this award, and she's proud and she's happy for this great achievement, as she should be. But yeah, this moment was very interesting, rather strange, and just made me wonder why, like, what's happening here. Moving on to the next Black female actress, because we're in a whole, look at us. We talk about Taraji, Angela, Regina, now Vivica. Vivica. Okay, so Vivica received backlash recently for not wholly supporting Taraji P. Henson's sentiments about not being paid fairly as a Black woman in Hollywood. And I don't agree with the backlash that Vivica A. Fox is receiving for this. Because, and I'm going to play the clip in a moment, but what I find annoying is that I really hate this blind loyalty that Black people, Black women, Caribbean women, like whatever your identity politic is, I hate the blind loyalty of having to support and identify and relate with, just because we share one or two identifiers, right? Oh, we're Black women, so I got to agree with everything you say. Oh, we're Black women. Oh, like what? And Vivica A. Fox, she talks about how she basically doesn't have the same experience as Taraji. She doesn't have much of a complaint when it comes to um her checks and the way she's getting paid. She's doing well for herself, apparently. And people want to make fun of Vivica A. Fox because, oh, she's doing ads for car insurance, and oh, she's in Lifetime movies. So, if that is still bringing joy to her, if that is paying her bills, why is that a slight to her? I just don't like what the fuck are we talking about? Now we making fun of the job that people have, quote unquote, the humble jobs that people have. But we don't make fun of women working in OnlyFans, right? We encourage, we celebrate that. But when a woman is working in the industry in quote unquote low budget films, and she may be more on the TV screen on these local channels rather than a blockbuster hit movie like she once was at one point, because Vivica A. Fox once was at one point. Oh, we're making fun of her? How about encourage and celebrate the fact that Vivica A. Fox is still doing a damn thing? She is still putting herself out there, acting in different capacities, landing roles in whatever range that they're in. It's still to be glorified. So that just rubs me the wrong way. But let's go ahead and listen to what she says here um in her response to one of the people, like TMZ folks, asking her, "Hey, what do you think about Taraji?" So let me go ahead and change my account. You know when you log into a Google Chrome and it acts like it doesn't remember that, hey girl, we've seen you before. Hey girl. Child, I'm really sick of this shit. Sorry, excuse me. Excuse my French. Let's see if I can remember the YouTube. Okay, there we go. But anyway, so yeah, I just don't like that. I feel like we have to let people just have their own respective opinions and experiences. If I can't relate, I can't relate. That's no slight. How else do you want me to say I can't relate? I can't relate. Oh, I can't relate. Like, what are we talking about? What the fuck are we talking about right now? Anyway, I think I finally got it to work. Okay, there we go. So let me go ahead and play this video, and then we'll break it down some more. Some more. Okay, sorry. Let me just share the screen. And make sure you are watching on YouTube. That is a great way for you to support this podcast. This is an independent podcast. I am not signed to anyone yet, if I so choose. And this is your way of supporting me, whether it's directly through through compensation, direct compensation, via clicking the link in the bio and clicking the donations. Donations. Shout out to Dr. Umar. Anyway, let's go ahead and play this.
So we want to know, do you feel like now is the perfect time to have the conversation that Taraji kind of continued over Monique? You know, you're an actress, you've been out there. Is this the perfect time to kind of talk about that in the right platform?
You know, darling, to each his own. Do you know what I mean? I'm very happy, very blessed. And to each his own. I didn't have that experience, so, but to get your piece out is important. I totally understand that. And I love my girls for looking out for each other. But I'm good.
And so she's good. What's the problem? Oh, Vivica could have showed more compassion. And what are we talking about? What are we talking about? What the fuck is Vivica supposed to do? Cry on camera and be like, I can't believe the treatment of Taraji. What do we stop? And this kind of brings me back to what I was saying earlier. I know I probably came off a little bit harsh and not as compassionate as one could be, right? But I'm coming from a standpoint of I don't make a fraction of how much Taraji is making, okay? And yet she's complaining about what now? How much is you're not getting paid $1 million. Oh, but it's 750,000. Oh, that must be sucky. That must suck, right? So there's just that surface level of irritation that I have. But I realize after thinking about it some more is that we all are on different paths, right? Not everyone has the same experience, but we have the same experience. And what I mean by that is just like how everyday folks in America, where most of the times we're living paycheck to paycheck, we're making ends meet, we just made it, like, we just getting by, we're doing our best, we're a little bit above surviving, maybe we're thriving, but a lot of people who are of that 1%, that's exclusive class, but nonetheless, those who are in the entertainment industry is really not what it seems, right? We have the impression of, this person's always getting dolled up. This person is always looking so nice and well put together, and she's always on my screen. Of course, she's getting paid big bucks, but that may not always be the case. And she has to live in a specific box that is conducive to her image, right? So, yes, she may live in a multi-million-dollar home, but of course, the expenses for that home is not going to be the same amount as the expenses on my home, right? So she has to make sure her jobs are fulfilling the necessary expenses that she has to make sure her team is getting paid. So, like, there's a lot that does ride on it, and I think I wasn't being as open-minded as I could have been, because again, I was looking at it from just a surface level of, bitch, you're a millionaire, shut the fuck up, right? But with millionaires, they are still having to work relentlessly, multiple jobs, maintain multiple streams of income to keep up, to maintain. And just like they're maintaining in their own way, I'm maintaining in my own way, right? So, I mean, who am I to say their level of maintaining is unimportant? No, look, it's unimportant. What the fuck am I talking about? Oh my goodness. Look, I'm trying to be sensitive here, but no, I am being honest in what I'm saying right now. Like, I know it's kind of hard as regular Joe Schmo to feel sympathy or anything for those who are in such a higher bracket. But if you just try to look beside yourself or beyond yourself, you could recognize that, hey, their experience is probably just like mine, just like on a different scale. So that's just what I'm saying here. Taraji, she deserves all of the Hidden Figures is a really good movie. It's a really good movie. So shout out to that and shout out to her work. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about Halle Bailey and how she finally admitted that she had a baby boy. She had a baby with her boyfriend DDG, who is known as an internet streamer. I think he's one of the YouTubers from the very beginning. He has a large following. He's made great investments. Apparently he's a great businessman. So he's doing well for himself. He could afford the lifestyle that he seemingly has. And that's great. Good for them. Congratulations. What I don't appreciate though is, for the past 9 months, there's been a lot of speculation about whether or not she's pregnant. People were really doing their due diligence in researching and zooming in and putting two and two together to confirm her pregnancy. The whole time, Halle was playing our faces, gaslighting us, wearing bigger clothing, but standing in an angle that wasn't too obvious. And thankfully, as a pregnant woman at the time, her face didn't demonstrate that. Like, I guess her face wasn't as obvious as a pregnant woman. And she was able to kind of float by. So with that being said, it was a continuous investigation that a lot of people had on whether or not is she pregnant, is she not, y'all need to mind your business, whatever, all this stuff. So okay, cool. She purposely hid it from us. It's been confirmed that she did have the child. She admitted it herself. And in her Instagram post, she shows a picture of her hand, her finger being held by her baby son. And, just borns, their hands are super tiny, right? So you see this tiny hand wrapped around her index finger, and it's super cute, but that's all we see. We don't see his face. We don't see her face in the photo. We just see their hands wrapped together. Beautiful. Congrats. It's still great. I'm glad that, she had a healthy baby, and it seems to be a joyous time. In the caption, she says, quote, "Even though we're a few days into the new year, the greatest thing that 2023 could have done for me was bring me my son. Welcome to the world, my halo. The world is desperate to know you," end quote. And in the last part of her caption, she includes a couple of emoji. The emoji that's like a wink, like, gotcha. That wink. The laughing emoji, like, where you're laughing and you're like, your head's rolling. You gotta do it's that one, like, girl, what? And the heart. So, okay, cool. Tongue in cheek. But first of all, stop insulting your fans. And I'm not even a fan of Chloe, Halle Bailey, any, like, I didn't really care for their work. I know they're talented. I've seen them perform on TV, and I can't deny that they're very talented. They're great singers. They great, good for them. But I just don't appreciate when celebrities, they get so mad when you're invested in their lives. I'm sorry, what? And I know, we're in 2024 now, and we gotta respect people's boundaries and even celebrities. No, we don't. And I'm not not saying it in a way to like encourage stalking or predatory behavior or anything like that. I just think there is this like, oh, I'll show you. It's like this, like, you're playing with me. You're playing with me, basically. You're making it out to seem like, oh, I don't want you to give me attention, but I want you to give me attention. I don't want you to give me attention, but I want you to give me attention. Which one is it? Which one is it? Oh, we're desperate. Like, and look, you don't have to like give all the details, but I feel like you could have shared something during, like, I mean, you didn't have to lie, or like, obviously when you're pregnant, they say you can't talk about it until like the first trimester is over with. And so at least then you could have said something. I just think to kind of play in our face, to get mad at us for asking questions or wondering or coming to conclusions and then lying straight to our faces. Even DDG, he had attitude with some of the fans talking about, dang, I don't know why y'all care so much, yada yada yada. And it's like, what? You don't know why we care so much, yet now you're posting about your child, and though he hasn't shown her their son's face still either, it's still like he's now talking about him. He's showing other parts of his body. Like, he just blurs out the baby boy's face. And so it's like, okay, you don't want attention about your son, yet you're still posting about your son, which will garner attention. Do you know how crazy that sounds? The son actually now has what? Instagram page. An Instagram page, okay? The son is now 27,000 followers deep on Instagram. He was born 2 days ago. I'm just I just cannot. Oh, but you're mad at people wanting to know if you are pregnant. What? You're mad at people for wishing you a happy pregnancy, a happy birth, and congratulations. And now you created a public social media account for your son, who you didn't want to have been given attention. It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, just like you're spitting in our face, you're peeing in our face, and you're saying it's raining. Like, you know what, bitch? Fuck you. And mind you, again, I wasn't even one of the ones who was invested in figuring it out. And, oh, are you pregnant? Like, I just came across my timeline and found the content to be interesting, and stalked her and went to her house. But so okay. It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay, so let's move forward. So shout out to them. Congrats. Hallelujah. It's amazing. Let's talk about Kush. Kush. Stay with me. Kush. First of all, what is Kush? Because some people call it as another way to say weed, right? Okay, I just looked it up. It says cannabis. Okay, but it's not though, because the Kush in Sierra Leone is not from Mother Nature. It's not from their backyard. It's from chemicals. Child, tell me why I came across a video on YouTube. And obviously with a lot of people, what engages people into watching a YouTube video is the thumbnail. And the thumbnail of this video included these men who were pretty thin in frame, and they are looking absent-minded, to say the least, pretty much zombies, and they're holding something to their mouth. The title of the video is saying something of the sort of human bones mixed with drug called Kush. And I'm like, I say, What? In Sierra Leone. Okay. And so of course, I eventually clicked the video, watched it, and I was so disturbed. One thing about me is once I find something that I'm intrigued about, I'm going to spend a good week or two researching. Okay? And I am in the midst of that currently. So Kush is a mysterious new zombie drug that's ravaging Sierra Leone, an epidemic described as the worst in Africa. And amid fears, the crisis could destabilize the entire nation. A shocking new twist: the use of ground up human bones as one of the drug's cocktail of ingredients. Y'all, this is disturbing beyond belief. And so West African Kush is nothing like the weed that some people call Kush in America. Because again, when I initially looked up Kush, it just said cannabis. And as we know, cannabis is of the earth, is natural, it's a plant, and it's not even a drug. Is the whole debate. But you don't describe Kush here in America as one that's synthetic, as one that's filled with chemicals. It's more of a, lackadaisical type of drug. But the Kush in West Africa is totally different. This Kush is a synthetic. It does have a cannabinoid-like drug in it, but it's as dangerous as heroin and cocaine. And it's killing around a dozen users a week. So, of course, it's an epidemic. Of course, this drug is something that you can't just shake off. So a lot of the people who are hooked on it in Sierra Leone are hooked on it for, against their will, right? It just takes one puff, and next thing you know, it releases a dopamine that your brain is now addicted to, and now you have to chase that high, and it's hard to overcome it, easily, at least, right? So it's sweeping West Africa by storm. And it really makes me wonder how. How did this get introduced to Sierra Leone? Who brought this into their land, into their territory? In the video that I watch, you see the drug dealer, who is a Sierra Leone native. And he is anonymous in the video. So we see the back of him, and he's speaking to the reporter, and the reporter's asking him, don't you feel guilty? Why are you selling this to your people? You see how it's killing thousands and thousands of Africans. And he says basically the way that the economy is set up there, he has to sell this drug in order to get by, in order to survive the economic status in his land. This is his way of doing so. Now, look, some people may look at this as an excuse, right? You shouldn't. There's no justification for drug dealing, right? Don't you see the people on the streets falling down like zombies? Like, there's no justification for it. And sure, you may have a good argument there, but I think this really brings me to a bigger issue, though. The economy. When you leave people at a point where there is no hope, there's not even just hope, but right, there's no jobs, there's no access to jobs, to just a better life, to a better welfare, where your only option is to kind of sell, like, that is seemingly, at least, right, the hope is gone. So even the idea of, no, I could overcome, I could see the future, I could rise above the drug dealing land, the temptation of drug dealing, no, you can't, because the hope is not even there, y'all. The hope is gone. Like, it's like, no, I have to sell these drugs. If I want to eat, if I want to feed my daughter, if I want to feed my son, if I want to provide for my family, I have to sell this drug called Kush, grind up some human bones in it because it's a little parsley, apparently, and sell it. Hey, like that is just that's where my mind goes, because how did this even become an epidemic? Who brought this there? How did they get exposed to it? That's where my concern and where my question lies. But anyway, if you guys care to watch, it is a short video on YouTube. Simply type in Kush Sierra Leone and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's disturbing. It's distressing content. It's not something you will probably want to watch with your children. So beware. But I say all this to say, just like, put it down. Don't even get caught up in the curiosity of smoking anything, because you never know the type of brain you have wired up, right? Sometimes we think that we are so strong and nothing could get us, right? I know for myself. I mean, I thank God I'm where I am right now, right? I thank God I'm not in that circumstance where I have it all around me and the temptation is right in my face. Because I think for myself, I do have an addictive personality. I hyperfixate a lot, and with hyperfixation, I focus so intently on one thing. And with drugs, there's no like one thing, like you can't, oh, I'm okay, I just tried fentanyl for the week, I'm done. No. You tried it for a day or two, you're hooked until you're not hooked anymore. And your life is just now ravaged. You are now trying to get yourself up again. And it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing that this has taken over your life in a way where you have no control. So, I mean, God bless. I don't know what else to say. I watched that and I was so taken aback. It's very disturbing and it's sad. But again, my question is, how did it get there? Who introduced who to Kush in Sierra Leone? Finally, let's go ahead and wrap up with this secret tunnel discovery in NYC, which is a very strange story. Recently, it's been exposed that there are secret tunnels in New York City, particularly under a synagogue. The passageway is believed to have started in the basement of an empty apartment building behind the Shabbat headquarters, snaking under a series of offices and lecture halls before eventually connecting to the synagogue. It's not exactly clear how long it has been there. And so there are images of a whole civilization under underground. Um Quite fascinating. Clearly, if this is a whole structured underground civilization, this has been had for years now. I dare I say decades, because the sophistication and the look of this tunnel is not something that was done overnight. For several hours, police pleaded with the young men to leave the entrance to the tunnel. According to witnesses, after they refused, the officers covered the area with a white curtain and entered the dusty crevasse with zip ties to detain the protesters. The passageway is believed to have started in the basement of an empty apartment building behind the headquarters. and there are different offices and lecture halls underneath. Like, people are aware, or the people in the community are aware of this place, and they secretly meet and store whatever information they're storing. Like, what is going on? And I feel like mayors and other people in these elected positions are probably aware of this. They probably knew this at some point, whether all or some. There is no surprise in this news for some people. 9 people between the ages of 19 and 22 were ultimately arrested on charges that included criminal mischief, reckless endangerment, and obstructing governmental administration, according to the police. So this is a historic Brooklyn synagogue, and it is the center of an influential Hasidic Jewish movement. Was trashed this week during an unusual community dispute that began with the discovery of a secret underground tunnel and ended in a brawl between worshipers and police. And you know what's so interesting? These small hats folks, right? They really have no fear of the police. There's no like, oh, yes, sir, fear of being detained by them or being beaten by them, because why? They hold a level of power. I mean, at this point, more is being revealed. We are in the year of exposure. It seems like, shout out to Cat Williams, and these tunnels are now being exposed to the mass. But I do think those who are in elected positions are aware or have been aware of this for quite some time. So that is all for today, you guys. I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support, and I will check in with you all next time. Peace.